I am Senator Sanders, for those who don't know, and they give you my picture so you can make a dartboard out of it. And she's a great, she's been getting my pictures for years. Man, that woman can hit me anywhere that she wishes. And I feel it too. Welcome to Albany. Oh, I'm sorry, Bishop, I didn't even see you over there. Don't jump, brother, it ain't that bad. Actually, it is, but that window is up. Don't jump. Who's first time in Albany? Who's been up there for the first time? I like it. This is your house, my friends. We have liberated this place, and you need to know that it is yours. This is not some place for folk not like us. This is our house. And we need to start teaching our young people how to run it. Somebody's going to run this state. Why not your children? Why not you? Why not all of these? Now, I trust that you have met. In fact, I usually mess up and do it last. I'm going to do it first. I want everybody, all of my staff, to identify themselves and say what they do. We'll start over here, and they're going to project and use their Marine Corps voice.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you? Okay, my name is Lisa George. I am the office manager for State Senator James Sanders Jr. I'm also a constituent liaison, and I cover South Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, and Springfield Gardens. All right.
All right. Go ahead, Ralph Charles. You got a role. Everybody got a role.
And education.
How do you do, everyone? My name is Ralph Charles, president of Friends of Sanders. I'm going to deputize everyone here as a friend of Sanders. So if you're here, one of the most important things is if you want things to happen in your community, you have to make sure that you have someone who's truly going to represent you. And so the Friends of Sanders is to try to get together how can we spread the word and support the senator. And I just want to add this, Senator, if I may. The senator's the only one who's really bringing up the constituents like this to come up here, to come to the House. Look around, ask if anybody else is doing what the senator is doing here. So just to let you know, this is the kind of person that we have, and we have to make sure that we support him, show him his love, all right?
All right. LaToya, who you is?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. LaToya Benjamin, I serve as the Director of Economic Development and the Clergy Liaison for Senator Sanders.
All right, don't stop. We doing well. Wait, we got another.
Hi everyone, my name is Kristen. I'm a constituent liaison and I work out of the district office in South Ozone Park.
Now make sure you're yelling.
I cover Rochdale as well as South Jamaica. And if you need my business card, I have them on me.
All right, we will come to the chief last. We got an intern up here. She thought I was going to leave her alone. No mercy. Yell, project this one.
Hi guys, I'm Selena Lee. I'm currently the legislative intern during this session for Senator Sanders in Albany.
All right. Anne Marie, who are you?
I'm Anne Marie Costello. I'm the Director of Communications and the Liaison for Veterans and Seniors.
All right. We got to have a chief. Who's the chief up here? Wait. Ivan, come on in here. Who are you, sir?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ivan Young. I'm the Senator Sanders Counsel, and I work up here in Albany. So if you have any questions about any legislation, you will call me here in Albany.
All right. So Ivan tries to keep me out of trouble. Good luck with that. Here's the chief up there.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the Chief of Staff, Marvin Holland, for Senator Sanders, and I wouldn't be a good chief if I didn't have an assignment for everybody here. So before you all leave here, those of you who traveled up, we need you to fill out this past Customer Protections Act. It's in the budget, but we need to get some signatures so we can keep it in the budget. So I'll be passing these out.
All right. Vishnu, why don't you explain who you are?
Vishnu.
Me?
That's you.
Oh,
Yes, you, sir.
I'm a genuine nice guy. I'm actually one of Senator Sanders' helper. And that's just to the
It
same.
covers the whole.
All right, this is Santa as a helper. If Santa needs a helper there, you know I do. Who is that? I'm big and fat, huh? All right, we'll leave that part alone. My friends, I do a bunch of stuff up here. You have sent me up here to do a bunch of stuff, and we absolutely try to do these things. But we don't work alone. We work with some of the best people that money can't buy. We work with some people who work extremely hard, and they stay in the background until we call them out. Now, who are you?
Fowler, Lucille Fowler. I'm one of Senator James Sanders' volunteers.
Oh my goodness. This is the volunteer of volunteers. No, what you going over there for, brother? Who are you?
Oh, well, my name is Charan Worsley. I'm the new constituent liaison for Senator James Sanders of Far Rockaway office.
All right. So you got most of the team. I'm missing a couple, but that's all right. That's all right. So first things first, make sure you look out there. Isn't that a beautiful view? Man, I tell you, we moving on up. So we are, wait a minute, who's this beautiful young lady? Wait a minute. Oh, yes. Now, who got a camera? Man, a politician and a beautiful young lady? All right, turn around, baby. We gotta do this now. I can't get back up now. Oh, there you go. Now, what is your name?
Emily.
Yeah, one more time, louder.
Emily.
I like it, Miss Emily. How old are we?
8.
I like being 8. Did I ever tell you I was 8? No, this is my 88th time having an 8th birthday. Yes. Quick, how much is that? Ooh, don't answer that. That means I'm older than 8. Would you believe I'm older than 8? Look at that. Now who's a political? A pleasure to, when were you born? What month?
December.
Okay, all right now. You starting to get me scared, girl. December, let me see. What day in December?
28.
Okay, oh, toward the end. Oh, you getting messed over. That's the Christmas time. Yeah, my sister is like that. That's a Capricorn? It's a Capricorn. Ooh. Man, I was going to say something bad, but those Capricorns over there said, no, don't even think it. They were kind of clear. Did you know they Capricorns too? Is that right? Okay. Boy, they're really clear. You can have a seat, baby. I'm going to be kind. All right. I'm going to be kind to y'all. So they have me up here. Y'all have me up here, and I have been. Now, let's be clear. I am the most blessed man that you will ever meet. I am. I'm the most blessed man that you will ever meet. I am blessed when I go out the house. I am blessed when I come back into the house. But wait, that's not enough. Surely goodness and mercy, it follows me. Yeah, no, I'm blessed. So if you ever see me in a problem, all you got to do for me is just put up a prayer. And you put up a prayer and that whole thing is resolved. So I just had to let everybody know, if there is a secret that I have, it is that I had a praying mother. Man, that woman could put up a prayer, because I was a bad kid. My daughter says there's no such thing, but that's a lie. I was a bad kid. I have been suspended more than 7 times. And should have been suspended 7 more. But no, I believe me, I earned it. However, it does say that we should not give up on our youth. It does say that we can turn this thing around. That we can absolutely go from bad to bad. that we can do some stuff that we don't have to be. Now, I, again, was born, as you all know, in the Hamels houses. I was not born in a hospital. I was born in the Hamels houses. No midwife. Just my Alabama mama. Just her and me. But no man or woman slapped me. No, I'll say it again. No man or woman slapped me. My mama made up for it, but one story at a time. But I never really wanted to be an elected official, I must admit. I wanted to be several different things. Until 16, I was going to be a minister. Don't ask what happened, it ain't your business. Get my best side now, make me look good. Can I look as good as you? I'll look at that. All right. Then I wanted to be, what did I want to be? I was a absolute terror until the 6th grade, and I read a book that changed my life. I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and that book changed my life. I said, this is what I'm rebelling about. Now, when you're in the 6th grade, though, hey there, how you doing? You all right? I'm trying to make do. When you are in the 6th grade, there's only so much you understand. But if you have not read that book, you're cheating yourselves. As a matter of fact, for those who keep up, they are reopening the case.
Yes, they are.
We are reopening the case, and I've had a small role in that. And I will have a larger role in one of the greatest losses to our community, the assassination of Malcolm X. Y'all need to read and keep up with that. Who was an anti-racist. That nonsense that they tell you, the man was an anti-racist. Well, one story at a time. State of the district, how are we? Boy, do we have some challenges.
Yes.
We got some challenges. Now, the largest challenge that we had that nobody's keeping up with, well, yes, I agree, that would be the largest challenge. I was told that the largest challenge is Trump. And yes, I would agree with you. But that's why I'm going with my cousin on this one. Oh, y'all ain't keeping up. I'll try it again. That's why I'm going with my cousin on this one. Bernie Sanders. It's a Sanders thing. It's time for you to understand. Everything else is fading. That man's surgeon. You don't catch the burn. Come on, let's not be late this time around. But having said that, my friend, the second greatest challenge that we have in this district is gentrification. What is happening at Kennedy Airport may take our homes from us, my friend. If we don't do this right, we are making a community where you might not have a spot. Miss Emily, you thought I forgot. No, you see, if I had that smile, I'd be in the White House and not the doghouse. I would be. Well, I use, well.
You are going to be in the White House.
Well, I've been taught not to make small of when people say stuff like that. I'm going to accept it.
Yes.
I'm going to accept it. I will embrace it instead of, we've been taught to think small, but we should accept large. So I accept it. So we need to watch what's happening at Kennedy Airport because they got $13 billion coming through there, and you should want to know how much is yours. How much is your community getting?
None.
None.
If anything, what are we getting? Don't we have needs? Some of that could be for affordable housing. Some of that could be for the youth centers that we keep saying that we need. How about the senior centers?
I agree.
Man, we could do some stuff with $13 billion. $13 billion. What couldn't we do with our youth? My God, we beg for pennies.
Senator,
Gotta spend
can
our
we get rid
time.
of some of those hotels / homeless shelters in our community?
$13 billion, you could buy every single one of them and turn it into whatever you want it to be. $13 billion, what would you do with $13 billion? Give it to me, what a great guy. What a great guy. Now, let's be clear, I literally put words in his mouth. What would y'all do with $13 billion? Affordable housing. Affordable housing. With $13 billion, come on in here, Manny, the waters are fine. What would you do with $13 billion, Manny?
Give jobs to everybody in the district.
Wow. What is your name, sir?
Manuel Silva.
I didn't hear you. Say that again?
Manuel Silva.
What do you do for a living?
I'm the Chief of Staff for Councilmember Donovan Richards.
All right. I like it. Grab somewhere. So under those conditions, one last one. Okay, well, what would you do with $13 billion, sir?
I would do with $13 billion. My name is Bruce Jacobs, Coalition of Rockaways, fighter for Rockaways in Southeast Queens.
All right.
What I would do for the neighborhood, first of all, jobs, veteran grants, for veterans to get trained. I would also help all people, even two-income families, to be able to come back to Rockaway, to be able to be accepted into these buildings that they say they don't qualify. We want our neighborhood built up. That's what I would do with $13 billion.
I like it. Hi, Khadijah. Who are you and what do you do here?
Hi, everyone. I'm Khadijah Peak. I'm the Albany Office Manager and Banks Committee Director.
So, thank you kindly for that. So, it is a battle that we have over $13 billion. Now, if you know what I know about government, if a thing starts at $13 billion, it's not going to end at $13 billion. That thing is going to balloon to $22 billion. If you get out at $22 billion in government, you did well. So under those conditions, you should be getting a tenth of that. A tenth of $22 billion is $2.2 billion. You would solve just about every problem in your community if you did that, and probably have money to give somebody else. So I would encourage you to speak to your leaders and say, where's ours? And cut through a lot of words. If you hear words, that means you're not hearing thought. We concretely, how much do we get? Keep it very simple. No, I don't want it. No, I don't want those explanations. I want to see how much is this community. Now they try to confuse stuff, and they confuse MWBE, minority and women-owned businesses, with what the community gets. Now, MWBE means that a person of color from Indiana come make some money here, and that's good. But, and then they're going to go back with that money to Indiana.
Take it back.
Why don't you, in my pocket, my coat pocket, this. To Indiana is where they would take that money. Under those conditions, my friends, Indiana's a fine place. I've been through it. Is there any better place than Southeast Queens?
No.
Why should there? There is. Where? I haven't been in a better place, and I certainly have not met better people. So under those conditions, you need to get yours. You were here when the times were bad. You were here when the times were difficult. When that traffic got bad on Kennedy Airport and you couldn't get home, you were here. When you smelled the gas fumes, you were here. When you couldn't get nowhere, the noise, don't mention the noise, you were here. So now the times are getting good, why shouldn't you have yours? You should have yours. You need to look in on that, my friends. Speak to every one of your leaders and say, hey, this is our moment. This is the time that we supposed to have that youth center that we've been. My friends, if you can't do it with $13 million, when you gonna do it? If you can't do it now, when? It simply did not gonna be this much money coming through at one place. All right, so we spoke of that. We also have to deal with, now last summer, my friends, was rough. There were so many shootings in our community. My Lord, did we go through, we haven't seen that many shootings since the 90s. We went through some stuff, and we have to figure a way to do something about it. And most of that was young people killing young people. My God, fratricide, brother killing brothers, fratricide. We need to work on this, and I understand part of this because I understand that when I was a younger man, just yesterday, of course, when I was a younger man, I used to do, everything wrong, well, just about everything wrong that I could think of, and we got up there, and I used to hang in the Ville, Brownsville. Never ran.
Never will.
Never will. And we used to hold to that, and we used to run 20 deep.
Yes, it was.
And I used to associate myself with 20 people. We used to run 20 deep, and we made a vow that when we go out, ain't no crying for mama.
That's right.
Ain't nobody crying for mama, ain't nobody crying for papa. Yep. And we kept our promise, and we died like flies, I must admit.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the 20, if 7 are alive, I'd be shocked. And then out of that 7, how many are in the house of pain, breaking big rocks into little rocks, making other folk rich. So under those conditions, there's something wrong. Now, why didn't we make a different vow? Why didn't we say, you gonna own Amazon, I'm gonna own Google, and we're gonna give back to the community? We did not see it that way. In fact, I didn't think I'd be alive at 21. We did not see it that way. There's something wrong with that. We've got to change our way of thinking. We've got to change it and create. Come on in here. The waters are fine. Sure. I'll tell you what. I'll stand over here. There's seats in the front. Go ahead. Go ahead. We won't tell the guy in charge. All right. Man, I tell you, only God knows what I'm going to do. And he don't tell me in advance. So it is true that we need a different value system. I like that outfit, brother. You all right? I like it. What's your name? Nicholas. Come here, Nicholas. They got to see you. Oh, man. Brother cleaner than the Board of Health. Yeah, brother. This is Brother Nicholas. How old are you, Brother Nicholas?
10.
I like 10. I like 10. What school do you go to?
Powell's Lane.
One more time?
Powell's Lane.
I like it. All right, here's a question for you, Nicholas. Now watch this now. I'm going someplace. Let's see, 10. 15 years from now. Wow. 15 years from now, what you gonna do? What you gonna be 15 years from now? That's 25, brother. Well, what is interesting? I like it. I'm gonna come back, Brother Nicholas, I'm coming back to you. I want you to think about it, because if you can't see it, you can't be it. And the sooner that you start visualizing yourself in the future, the sooner you start owning the future. And I want you to own the future, because you know what? 15 years from now, I want you to hire me. I'm serious. I want you to be so successful that you say, where that Sanders fella? You put this thought in my head, I'm going to hire you. Will you pay me well, though?
Yes.
Oh, come on now, man. Come on. You ain't going to work me too hard, are you?
No.
Okay, all right. I'm going to let you sit down, but I'm going to come back to you, because I want you to tell me 15 years from now what you're doing. If you can't, a hand for Brother Nicholas. It's tough. Isn't it hard to be up here? Isn't it hard to be up here? You do? Wait a minute. Let's do this right. I almost said Ashley, Emily. Sister Emily, 15 years from now, what you gonna be doing?
Computer science.
One more time.
Computer science.
I like it. In fact, she's gonna be so fantastic, we won't even use computers anymore. No, I'm serious. With 15 years from now, they're gonna have something so small and something so handy that only God knows where it's gonna be. I mean, if the smartphone is that small, 15 years from now, imagine what that's gonna be like 15 years from now. And you're gonna invent it. And please remember me when you're writing that check. Yeah. No, don't be smiling now. I like it. How are y'all? Good to see you up here. Nice to meet you. Your first time up here? You know the guy up in charge? Yeah, I like to know that myself. I'm talking about the senator up here. You ever heard of him?
My name is Naomi Sanders. We used to live together. His mother was my mother. His dad was my dad.
Now, she was being nice. She usually says it different. She usually says, we used to live together. And I like that one. You got a little cowardly there. That's all right. Oh, I forgot your husband's sitting up here. Oh, we gonna clean it up. Oh, yeah. I saw him. He was kicking it under the table. Trying that, none of that. So my friends, we're actually going someplace in our district. I don't know about these other folk, but here we're going someplace, and you know what? We're gonna go together. There's an African saying that says, if you want to go someplace fast, go alone. But it says, if you want to go far, go together. We in this district are going to go together. The blacks, the whites, the Indians, the Latinos, the Asians, the whatever, if you can think of it, here we're going to go together. We're going to stand against foolishness and racism of every type. We don't want anybody messed over. We don't want to hear anybody being discriminated against. None of that stuff in this district. Y'all shouldn't do that anywhere, but we're not going to do it here. Here, we believe that women are equal. Here, we believe that they got as much rights as anybody else, if not more so. So we are going someplace different in this district. And that difference is going to be we're going together. We're not going to make the mistakes of days going by where we turn on each other rather than to each other. Here, we're not going to do that. We are going to try to capitalize on that $22 billion that's out there, because I want you and your children to own your community. There's nothing wrong with you owning your community. Wouldn't that be nice? Sure, you deserve. What kind of store would you own if you own one? Come on now. Yeah, what kind of store? All right, I'll accept that you all got this telepathy going. No, I accept it. I never stand in the way of a relationship. Man, I learned better than that. Oh man, come on. Is this guy clean or what? Come on in here. Oh, man, look at this. Oh, are we clean? Yeah. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Malik.
All right. Now, can I say one thing? Never be cleaner than the guy in charge now. Why don't you go and get you anything? Come on back up here. Yeah. Good to see you. All right. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Excuse me. They want to know your last name.
That's my dad.
That's a strange last name. That's my dad.
Malik Sanders.
I like it. This is my man-child. All right. Now, too many people looking at you. Go get you a seat.
I'll try to spill something on the suit.
Well, that's just well. I ain't got my shoes on. Come on. Come on. Let an old man have something. Your time will come. Don't be rushing it. You see, that's the problem with your young people. You're such in a rush. All right, it's good to see y'all. Did you just get up here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Come on up here. I don't mean that literally. I meant that figuratively. It's a figure of speech, right? Oh, that's the one that can make even me look good? Uh-oh. Yeah. Get my best side. Do me a favor, though. Switch my face with his. No, switch my face with his. I'm tired of being the ugly guy in the picture. Let him be the ugly guy. See if he likes it. He won't like it. So we are going someplace together. Now, in a few moments, my friends, I'm going to open this up for questions. Now, I got one rule. One rule with questions. Don't ask me anything that you don't want to know. Because I'm going to give it to you uncut. I'm going to give it to you the way the good Lord wants you to know about it. Uncut. So we are going someplace together. I am the chair of banks for New York State. We have seized it. That means you texted, oh Lord, you're gonna break my heart. A woman up here played a video game. Oh, that's all right. I love you anyway. Oh, Lord. Morning. Security. And did she eat yet? I hope she has, because she ain't getting no food up here. Mommy, that was right there. That was right there. I hope you lose that game. Which brings me back here. You know what? I wouldn't listen to a guy like me either. I don't blame you. We are going someplace together. We are going to work on the economic projects that we have, but I need your help. I need you to participate in it. I need to hear from young people. I need to hear from young people. I'm tired of being the youngest person in the room. Don't laugh, I'm the world's oldest teenager. Every year, it just keeps going backwards. So I need to hear from young people, but I also need to hear from women. What do women think we need in this district? I need to hear from my elders. Everything starts with the elders. We need to hear from the elders. We need to hear from fellas talking about men. We need to hear all of these things. I need to hear from my civic leaders. Yeah, you thought you were going to be in here and oh, you should have known better. I need to hear from my civic leaders. My friends, democracy only works if you work at it. Democracy is only real if we make it real. And this system has shown us that we will only get what we fight for. So I encourage us to get ready and fight for what we need. So I am the chair of banking in New York State, and we are going to work on making these banks do right by you. By law, they are supposed to put money into the community that they get money from. I don't think that that's happening at the level that it should. By law, you are not supposed to have to be struggling to get your Boy Scouts and your Girl Scouts and your football teams and stuff done. They're supposed to be pitching in. We need to make that happen. We are going to create something by the grace of God and hard work that we call a public bank. All right, pick up on that. A public bank. Sounds good, but what does that mean? She can tell us what a public bank means, but I appreciate that you don't tell her. You let me tell her. No, I don't want you to be bragging up here. A public bank basically means the monies of the public go into a bank so that we can put them into building the businesses that you deserve. Put it into building the truly affordable housing. Not that stuff that they're peddling out there. Houses so expensive, they call them affordable, but we can't afford them. We need truly affordable housing. We need all of those things. A public bank, you know what? If there were people under 30 in this room, if I could find a person under 30 in this room, you know what a public bank could do if I found such a person? If I only knew such a person. Lord, if there was such a person, a public bank can take your public debt from college and refinance it, bringing you down. Why can't it be a 0.5% interest rate? It's for a public good. So therefore, you went to school and you worked hard. You didn't just do it for yourself, most of you. You did it for the community, for the world around you. And if you have a job where you are serving the community, we should have it where we buy back your debt until you are debt-free.
Yeah, that's right.
Why don't we do these things? We should not saddle each generation with this type of debt. It's a public good. You can do these things with a public bank. We must change it because I don't want Emily to have this problem, because I don't want any of you to have this. And we, with other elected officials up here, are fighting for these things. Now, I'm going to stop for a second. Now, if you playing a game, I'm going to get mad. All right. If you playing it with her, I'm going to move over here. Y'all going to break a brother's heart. You going to make me do this by myself, huh?
No, we're intelligent.
Yeah, I didn't say, wait a minute, since when young doesn't mean intelligent? I think it's a synonym. I think that to say young means gifted. And Malcolm X taught us that you could be young no matter what age you are. He also said you could be old no matter what age you are. Let me prove this point. I have seen 90-year-old folk with more life energy than I've seen out of some teenagers. I've seen 90-year-old people just struggling for community and saying, oh no, I'm gonna get out there and go for it. We got to do this for them. Then I've seen old folk who are young folk. They got, in chronology, they're young. But they're already old, and in fact, I've seen the most sad thing I've ever seen. I've seen dead young men. Wow. And young women. Let's do this right. I've seen folk whose minds stopped going by 16, and are just taking up space, waiting for death. We got to do something about that. Again, you could be old no matter what age you are, or young no matter what age you are. A lot of it has to do with how we carry ourselves.
That's right.
So carry yourself. Now, my friends, I promised you that I was gonna let you ask me any question that you want. Emily, is that your hand? Oh my, you want revenge, don't you? She wants revenge. I done messed with her all morning long. And she said that I'm gonna take that smile off that man's face, and it's the last thing I do. I don't blame you, but be careful. The Bible says, out of the mouth of babes can come wisdom. All right, Miss Emily, yours is the first question. First, who is this man?
My dad.
Is that right? I like it. Congratulations for having not only a beautiful woman, young woman, but a beautiful, brilliant young woman.
Yes.
My goodness. All right, what's his name?
Michael.
I like it. All right, Miss Emily, what's your question?
Do you name your shoes?
Don't you talk about Saffron and Son. Don't you talk about Saffron. You heard that, Saffron? What was that? What? No, hush your mouth. Her question was, do I name my shoes? No, I do not, but I shine them something awful. I am a Marine, and we actually do something called spit shining. Now that is rough. We could spend 2 hours on one shoe. That's why I had to get out of there. All right. Did I tell him, Sam? I told her. Yes, ma'am. I'm like, Dad, you gotta say it so they can hear. No, I'll hold it. Boy, pushy, man. Take the mic from me, yeah. It's my show. Get your own show.
I'm from the CUNY University Student Senate, where we represent 500,000 New Yorkers, and we advocate for public higher education. And I would like to know, what are your plans for advocating for higher education? There are 2 pieces of legislation on the Senate side in regards to tuition freeze by Senator John Liu and Senator Thomas. I would like to know, what are your plans for that?
All right. Marvin, how did they get in here?
I told you to leave me alone. I'm gonna get some different people in here.
We're gonna talk at the end of this one. On the very serious side, I am a CUNY grad. I graduated Brooklyn College. And may I remind y'all that until '75, tuition was free.
Yes.
People will tell you that you can't do that, but until '75, tuition was free. When you started getting in schools in large numbers, there I go thinking again. It gets me in trouble. We should absolutely freeze, and I believe that I've signed on. If I haven't, Marvin, make sure they don't make me a liar here. If we haven't signed on, we should, but we should, in fact, my bill that I did before the governor put this so-called, his Excelsior, saved me from myself, was for free tuition, period. So the first step is to freeze, but we need to be talking about seeing school as a social good, something good for society as a whole. Maybe we should start by saying, okay, if you go into certain jobs, teaching, police, fire person, political for that matter, that it should be, you get it paid for. But absolutely, I am going to, if I'm not there by the end of the, Marvin already left, so that means that he must be going, Marvin is chief of staff. That means he probably has already left to make sure I'm on it. But I'll tell you a little secret. See that man smiling back there? That's the council. He deals with rules and regulations, laws and policies and all kinds of stuff. All them big words. He's in charge of big words. Cat, the dog, yeah. That's me, but if it's bigger than that, that's him. I am glad to be on that. We should do that and go further.
Oh, wait. Before you go.
Uh-oh, you want the mic too? My good. Oh, you'll let me have the mic. Well, that's mighty kind of you. I will. Wait, stand up. They may want a picture of this. There.
Tell me what the wristband says.
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
He must do it. We're going to hold him accountable.
Last time I had somebody put something on that cost me a lot now.
So.
All right.
With this wristband.
Wait a minute. Don't that sound like something? I done heard this one. No, keep it a keeper. Yeah. Ain't no witnesses up here. All right. Ain't she supposed to be kneeling at least or something? Go ahead with this wristband. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
For keeping your promise.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. For keeping my promise. All right, I'm listening. You know I'm supposed to go in that finger, right?
It's a wristband.
Well, you really should have. Well, I thought you were cute, too. Oh, sweetie. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. Oh, why does it hurt your feelings that I'm not good looking? Is that what you're saying?
It's hurting our feelings because CUNY is not getting any funding, and we need more funding.
I'm with you.
We hold our elected officials accountable to invest in post-higher education.
There you go.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for CUNY, so we need to make sure that you and your
Lesson one,
are funding
always
CUNY.
separate them. Do not let them sit together.
And not only that.
All right.
With CUNY, are you aware that feminine hygiene products are not free in our campuses?
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
There are no accessible feminine hygiene products on CUNY campus, but there are condoms everywhere. Periods are not a choice, but sex is. So it's very important we're looking out for women as well.
So if we're looking out for men, we have to look out for our women.
Exactly.
We say that women's are the future. We're here. But what is it that we're doing now in the present? So with this wristband.
Wait. They dropped some heavy. Is it not heavy? That's some heavy stuff. We need to wait. You all got to get me serious up here. You are the council, sir. Why don't we make a bill, and I suspect that we get a sign on from others, saying that CUNY and SUNY must have some feminine products available We could argue about how much, we could argue a lot of stuff, but it's, and free, I'm sorry.
Yes.
The key word was free
Yes.
there.
Yes.
I think that later on you'll need to work with him because we really, I think it's an oversight. And I think that we need to do something about it. So I really, yeah, but sign me up. I'm there. Y'all seeing it first.
Because for her future, we need it to be free.
Yes.
Because she's the one that's gonna take it to the next level. And we need to consider her.
we
And
need
not
to
just
make
her,
sure-
but all the young girls and boys that is in this room. We need to make sure they have a free education and they could go to a university of their choice.
And a quality education.
Yes.
Not scraps, a quality.
Yes. That's what we're here for.
We are producing dragons. We are producing dragons. I applaud y'all, your spirit, your energy. We do need to do these things. We need to hold everybody accountable, and at the same time do it in a spirit, which you did, a spirit of love. We can be accountable, and we can do it with love, because love is true accountability. So I really appreciate, we are going to work on that. I think that that was an incredible oversight. I mean, you know, as a man-child, if y'all don't educate me, I don't naturally think of these things. Women have to educate men. And men have to allow themselves to be educated. We all got to listen to each other a lot more. I really appreciate it. I'm coming back to you, Miss Emily. As soon as my shoes tell me to. My shoes ain't told me to go back to you yet. What's that? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Bruce Jacobs, Coalition of the Rockaways and Southeast Queens. My question to you, State Senator Sanders, is what about this, I know it's a tough political question, but I'm going to ask about bail reform, and I'm also going to ask you what's your stance on the closing of the Rikers Island and also on bail.
Slow down, brother. You're putting a lot out there. All right. Let's go straight to it. For those who don't know, first allow me to give you the context of the question. There is the Senate led an initiative in days gone by to reform how bail is done. The purpose of bail, by law, is to ensure that people come back to court. That is the purpose of bail. Now, it has been grossly misused. Grossly misused. There have been people, Browder from the Bronx, a young man who died, was accused of stealing a backpack, sent to Rikers Island, and because he could not afford, him and his family could not afford $200, they kept that young man in jail for a year and a half because he couldn't afford $200. While in jail, that man was brutalized by many. By the time that they got him out of jail, the mental damage was so bad that around 6 months later, he killed himself. And they had dropped the charges over the $200, over the bag. Now, I'm gonna assume that nobody in here wants stuff like that to happen. I'm going to assume that that's not the issue that we are really talking about when we're saying bail reform. I'm going to remind you of the history of bail reform. It stems straight back to slavery, where we have criminalized and held people in a type of bondage. And under those conditions, we have, by having a bail, the purpose of bail, of course, is to make sure people come back. If people are coming back, they don't need bail. If their name was that movie director, Weinstein, who could afford whatever amount of money, and in my opinion, is more guilty than sin itself. And yet he walks out with his walker. He's been free and is more guilty than sin. Justice is not something that should be bought. That if your pockets are wealthy enough, you could commit just about any crime and you could walk free. I agree with you there. There is no excuse for that. So the issue of bail reform needs to be looked at under those lights. That we should not have two systems of justice. One for the rich and well-heeled. One for if you got plenty money, and another one for those folk that $5 is money. That $5 is money. Now, on one hand, if somebody says $10,000 bail, this is such a rich audience, all of y'all can pull that out your pocket and pay. Well, and we're gonna help that not happen. Brother Manny back there is gonna hand us some money, EB, to make sure she should have bail and pay. Going from bad to worse up here. So under those conditions, we should not have two systems of justice. We should have one system of justice. Now, we did a bail reform that said if you were not in a violent situation, if you were not in a situation where you had a gun, if you were not in those type of situations, you would not have to pay bail if you were the type that would come back. Now, we do need to tweak it. We do need to ensure, anytime you write a law, my friends, there's going to be some stuff that we didn't put in, or some people that should not have been put in. We're going to tweak it to make sure that it catches the people that we want and doesn't catch, and nobody who is violent or any of that stuff can slip out on this type of stuff. So we're working at it. It's a work in order. So we are still working at it. My view is clear. My view is we will continue to fight. Martin Luther King, quoting the book of Isaiah, said, until justice rolls down like a mighty river. We are going to fight and insist that there is but one America. And America has to be America for everybody. This is going to be one place. I admit I am a patriot, and I have put my life on the line every day for this, because I believe in America. I believe in America more than America believes in itself. Amen. And I come from a group that we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. So under those conditions, Brother Khalil, that we are going to insist that there's just one justice system and that we all have the same. Now, I believe that everybody in this place is saying the same thing. I don't believe that there's a soul up here who believes in any of this madness and segregation and all that other foolishness. But we may have different ways of going about it. But I encourage everybody to take your democracy seriously. Never has it been more under attack than it is now. We have never seen the stuff in our lives. If you want a better country, you're gonna have to fight for it. More questions?
Man back here.
Oh no, that's too tough. Oh no. She been playing in this one all year. No, you got that devious smile too? I know she got something. All right, ma'am, you embarrassed me in front of my brother here. I didn't want to, I was too scared to come near you, but that's all right.
Okay. I have a lot of friends that live in the Rockaways, and they are concerned about Capital One Bank closing all those branches.
How much truth am I telling? You can't handle the truth. Banks. Now we got our work cut out with banks, my friends. If you're noticing what I'm noticing, banks are closing all over the place. Every time you turn around, there's a closing. Now, it is changing rapidly. The banks are claiming that they are doing that. Nobody's really going to the banks, they say. That you're going more and more online and banking more and more online. Now we have real challenges because it's worse than the banks closing. It's also something called CRA, Community Reinvestment Act. The Community Reinvestment Act says banks have to give money to the communities that they serve, that they have a branch in. If that branch goes, they don't have to give money.
Yep, that's true.
So we got our work cut out. Now, most of the branches that are closing are federally chartered branches. The big name, the Chase, the Bank of America, all that stuff is federally chartered. I'm in charge of state chartered banks. Most of them are not closing. That's the New York Community Bank, all those state chartered banks. Your congressman is on the banking committee. And those are the banks that are being closed. You need to take this to your congressman and say, Congressman, you're on the banking committee. How are your banks being closed? There I go thinking again. Gets me in trouble. I'm not going to go further into that because you're going to get me out of here. But I'll come over here. I'll go both of y'all. Since I can reach you first, I'll go here first.
Yeah, what I want to know, why is it not a law could pass for the bodegas that will close certain times of the evening, just like the supermarket? And every time they have a development in the neighborhood, instead of, you'll never see a Barnes or Noble come into the black neighborhood. It's always these fast food restaurants. And they're talking about obesity with the little kids there. That gives them more privilege to go out there and buy these junk food. And that's where the problem comes from.
With your permission, I will take a shot at that one. That's a tough one. For those who didn't hear, she put up at least two questions. One was the bodegas not closing. And the second was, why aren't we getting equality stores coming into our community? Did I do it decent? I think I did it decent. All right. Now, my friends, I would suggest to you that we need to think of this in another way. That we should be saying, not that a bodega is closing or opening for that matter, but what we should open in our community. If we don't like the stores that are coming, why don't we figure out how to own and bring to our community what is needed? We should not be looking for somebody else to come and help us, sir. We should be talking about how we're going to help ourselves and build the stores and the community. Where you going? Where you going? Oh, now you know, Lord. Oh, where have I failed? Where have I failed? Oh, and you too. Oh, Lord. You know. How do you know you're a failure as a father?
Oh, boy.
How do you know you're a failure as a father? Yeah, I'm guilt trip. I ain't got a problem with that. How do you know you're a failure as a father? With your old flush. My man child.
Oh, no.
I didn't walk out on you.
You in trouble.
Well, that's all right. You are loved anyway.
Love you too.
I appreciate it. But you're going to love me from a distance, huh? It's all right, believe that. Fathers get a lot of that. It's all right. Here's the other side. Here's the other side, Malik. Go ahead, just slap me here too. Get both of them. I wouldn't do this. That's all right, love. All right, Malik, you should go while you got a chair down. Then you go down. All right. Yes, I mess with my children.
Good.
Y'all should try it.
Yeah.
All right. We got a question here too.
My name is Merlin Smith-Sotil, and you asked what could we do with the $15 million in our community. We have no clinics that address the needs of sickle cell patients. We have hospitals, but when they're not under their parent insurance, you have no place to go. So with that 15 million, we can have a clinic or something for young people to go if they have sickle cell.
All right. Did y'all hear it?
Yeah, but everybody.
Watch this. How many of us have sickle cell trait in here? Trait. Any disease, anybody got sickle cell or sickle cell trait? It is very serious, and we should deal with it very seriously. Now, madam, have you taken this to a proposal to your elected officials to do just that, to build a clinic? Don't, stop. I'm gonna be nice. I should have did it in a rhetorical fashion. We need, our Bible teaches us, ye receive not, because she asked not. Okay, now we need to put it in a form. You need to go and say, here is what I'm speaking about, and this is what I want you to fight for and get some of this money from there. And you know what? Go a step further. Then you need to see how hard they fight and whether they were successful. And that is one of the ways that you should hold your leaders accountable. If they agree that this is the fight, then you should say, this and issues like that are how we're going to hold you accountable. Let me say this, a word, not John, let me widen it and say that we should be in a different day and age. We should offer everybody something what I call critical support. Critical support. When they do right, we should speak up. We should not be quiet. We should let everybody know they're doing right. If they do wrong or what we believe is wrong, we should pull them to the side. That's what the Bible teaches you. Pull them to the side first and say, what are you doing? You know, what are you trying to do? Now, if they can't convince you that they're going right, then you should tell them, no, we need you to get right. If they don't do right, then the Bible teaches us you're supposed to get one or two other people, elders, wise people, and go to them and say, you're still doing wrong. We need you to get right on this issue. If they don't do that, you're supposed to get more folk and say, yo, God, no, come on now, you're supposed to get right here. Then, if they still don't do right, you're supposed to oppose them. You're supposed to put them out. If your leaders are leading in a terrible direction, then you need to put them out. Then they're not leaders. They're leading somebody else, but they're not leading you. So that is how we should think. Everybody should be based on what's called critical support. We criticize you if you're wrong, but we want to catch you doing something right. We want to let everybody know you're doing right. But if you refuse to get right and we try, then we need to go against those principles, not the person. Not the person. You're not against the individual. You're against the bad things that the individual is doing. We are supposed to hate the sin, but love the sinner. And in politics, we can love you, but we don't love you in that chair. You can't be in that chair. You got to go from that chair. We still love you, but you can't sit in that chair because we got young people that we got to look out for. We got Emily who deserves us. We got a young man back here who's going to tell me what he's going to be doing. No, I ain't forgot. You knew better than that. No, brother ducking down back there. No, I ain't forgot. So that is what we want.